Okay. Let's see who's about. And that works. So, core maths, as usual. So, we're going to have 2 live streams today, one now. Let's put that there. So, second live stream will be at 10:30. So, there's 2 live streams, both of them going to be short. That is a rubbish camera angle, so let me fix that. So, let's see, that's my house. What is this doing? Why is it behaving so stupidly? Okay, that's my computer. Do apologise. Is that one of the business they call technical differences? Difficulties, that's it. Yeah, okay, that's better. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's better. Right, so yeah, so there's 2 live streams today. Both of them going to be relatively short and sweet. When we've got more people, I'll start giving content. We'll start doing content. Can you pop your name in the live chat? I'll start doing the register. That'll be a thing to do. Do that right now, actually. COVID-19 latest. Oh, yeah. Okay. Session is live. Please make the server, certainly. That's not a problem. So boom. That's fine. That's fine. Start making an email for you. Message. Right. Let's see who we've got. We have got Dylan. Hello, good to see you, Dylan. Isabella, brilliant as always. As always. I'm hoping everyone's well. I'm just going to hang around for a few more people. Generally, it's the same as our normal classes, and usually people turn up, but in a while. Dylan, if you didn't watch last time's video, our last lesson is not next Wednesday. It's the Wednesday after. So we've got lessons up till the 6th or 7th. Good morning, Naima. Something. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't you. Rita. Good, really good to see you. So we're going to do 2 short live streams, one now and one at 10:30. When a few more people come in, I'll give you a bit more detail on that. What I'm going to do now is do register. I'm going to email you out the stuff that we're doing. So who have we got? We've got who else have we got? Sansan. We've got my favourite. Precious. What's that? Also precious. Sarah. That's fine. Big crowd, obviously. Back in a second. Let's see who's up and who's not. We have got Anissa, Sarah, Naima, Rita. You're so always the first day of Ramadan. I hope it's going well for you. Thank you for showing up. I'll try and keep this as short as possible for the first one, anyways. And to be fair, it is going to be reasonably short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just sending out an email to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Who else am I missing? There's somebody I'm definitely missing. On that table, there's 4 of you, and you've all got 1. On the other table, you've got. There'll be somebody missing. Not Holly. It's not Casey. Precious. Who am I missing? Tell you what, I'll send it as is. We'll see what happens. What is there wrong with that? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Attach. Browse. Lesson materials, core maths. Browse. Okay, so if you check your emails now, I've sent you a pack of stuff. We're going to have a quick flip through that pack of stuff. Second half of this lesson, I'm going to talk to you about distributions, not just the normals. Obviously, we've done the normal to some detail now. Talking about distributions that aren't the normal. And just to give you a heads up of what we're doing for the rest of this 2-week period, I'm just going to teach you the psychology maths, right? The maths you need for psychology, all right? So that way, that's probably the most useful thing I can do. Given the fact they've said I've got to keep lessons going for another 2 weeks, let me at least do something that's going to be, helpful to you, all right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'll also try and keep the videos not too long, so I won't go like, an hour. It'll be like, I'll spend as much time as you need to understand it, but I'm not going to go further than that. Okay, cool? So if you just check your emails now for me, I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. The second lesson, I've already sent you the screenshots for. So if I say, like, when I talk about it at, say, 10:30, the stuff I'm talking about then, I've already, basically I bought the book. So I'm screenshotting pages out of a book in terms of the second lesson. But this lesson, I've sent you it's a Word file. Let me go back and open it up myself. Okay. Materials, core maths. And the file is called Constructing and Interpreting Graphs. It's not the world's hardest thing, so it is one. It's quite handy. One of the things I did send you on the Microsoft Teams is a contents list of things that you could be asked in psychology, but that's for every psychology unit. So maybe there's some stuff where you wouldn't need to know it, but it's a good place to start as a list of Okay, so if you open up that one, you've got. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'm always going to check in the chat. Have we all got it? Yeah, people have got it, so people start getting it. So if you look at that now, who's just showed up? Ashanti, brilliant. If anyone hasn't had it sent to them, can you drop me a message in the live chat? Because it's been sent out now. I've opened it up, and what you can see on the first page is that there's 3 things you need to be able to do with data. Be able to read graphs and charts, know when to use them, and know how to make them. So those 3 things you need to be able to do. Right? Seems reasonable. So those are kind of like your assessment targets in a way, right? And this whole kind of project, or project as it is talking about the difference in the effect having Diet Red Bull has on your concentration compared to regular Red Bull. Okay. So the first set of questions are talking about psychology ideas, right? And you've got 4 questions there. What is a suitable directional hypothesis? I think I know what a directional hypothesis is, but can I ask someone in the chat to explain it to me just so I'm sure? Don't worry, Zerda, don't worry. You didn't get it. Okay, I'm sending it to you right now, Isabella. So sorry. I literally was looking at the list of names and I knew I'd forgotten something. And it's super annoying. I don't know why I would have forgotten you. So I literally said hello to you 5 seconds ago. No, that's replying to me, sorry. Boom. Boom. Let me just forward that to you, Isabella. So if anyone knows what a definition of a directional hypothesis is, as I said, I think I know what it is, but I'd like to be sure because I'm not a psychologist. Yep, being go to sleep. How many people are fasting today? Obviously, Naima, I'd expect. You got it, brilliant, excellent. the people I've said are kind of mixed on whether it'll be easier or harder to fast this time. Some people said like they're already in the kind of half vampire mode anyways, because holidays, people were staying up late and going to sleep late and waking up late already because of the Easter holidays were close. And obviously you don't have to like get dressed and all that stuff. I mean, hope you got bloody dressed. I mean, you know what I mean? You have to get, you don't have to do the whole makeup stuff. Thank you, Sarah Tarrant. That's just Sarah Mohammed, isn't it? States direction, but yeah, okay, so it's the difference. I'm going to come across this in a minute, right? In mathematics, so when you look this up, we have two types of hypothesis testing, yeah? One is the one tail, and that's what in psychology they call the directional, hypothesis. Because basically you've got an idea that you're testing. You're testing that this, you kind of think, well, there's a chance that this could be worse than what I thought, or better than what I thought. And you've got the idea, there's something called a two-tail test, which hasn't got a direction, and you just think something's changed, but we don't know how. So suppose you wanted to do, here's one that could be a two-tail test. What's the effect of drinking Red Bull before you go into court? I suppose you're a lawyer. If you drink, this actually happened to me, and it's bad. Don't do it. But like, if you drink a Red Bull before you go into court and you have to stand up in front of a judge, would it make you better? Would it make you quicker thinking? Would it make you worse? Would it make you gamble like a lunatic? I can actually tell you from personal experience: do not drink Red Bull before you go to court. I was literally jittering. It was mad. But yeah, that's what I mean, right? So one-tail test, we know what we think has happened. Right? We don't assume that it's happened, but we know what we think is going to happen. So therefore, we're testing. Okay, maybe for this one, people are going to have better concentration, maybe because there's less sugar. I don't know. Table and mean, I'm going to leave. You don't need any explanation for that. Graph is simple. What conclusion can you draw? Yeah, so yeah, I'll leave that to you. You can do that in your own time. Let's move on. So I just want to look through it to see what's interesting in it. And I'm just going to leave you because I'm lazy to do the hard work, as in the work. What else? So in terms of interpreting, yep. Again, you have to draw the graph for that. But it keeps asking you what comments can you make about graphs. I mean, what kind of structure would you need for that? So basically, when you're doing, yeah, I should want a Red Bull right now. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done one about food. I will refrain from those from now on. So commenting on graphs, but the thought of you on Red Bull though, Jesus God, like, would you be like a super psychopath? I mean, it'd be interesting. What, like, good thing about it, I will see you next year at some point. I want to know what you're like on Red Bull. You have to tell me, right? Okay, so commenting on graphs, right? State, this is kind of like the way you do it. State what's there. So if it's the people that drank Diet Red Bull did better than the people that drank Red Bull, then say that. Say what it's got to do with your hypothesis. So link it back, just like as if it's English, it's point evidence analysis. Say what that tells you about your hypothesis. And I remember from your exam, marking your exam papers, that a lot of times you often could tell me, or like, look, this is better than that. Oh, yeah, you're right, half marks. But you didn't go back and say, this proves or this disproves our hypothesis. Even though I didn't really ask you questions like that. But there's usually is that second or third mark that goes, okay, yeah, you've done it. You've done a calculation, super, super. But then, okay, what have you done about it? What does that mean, right? If the people, so like going back to this experiment, if the people that drink the Diet Red Bull can say more words, what does that tell you about your hypothesis about whether Diet Red Bull makes you, makes it easy for you to concentrate? Okay, so that's the second kind of like major thing you need to be able to do with Sorry. So that's your interpretation. We talked about how to drawing them. I don't think anyone's got any major problem with it. I'm gonna just ask people if they know how to draw a histogram in a minute, but that's pretty. I think you can do everything else. Yeah, we'll do a list of graphs, and then if anyone needs it, yeah, cool. Okay, so what kind of graphs could you be asked to draw? Pie chart. I mean, if they ask you to draw a pie chart, that's mad. Histogram, which I think is the only one I think if anyone wants it, I'll do it for you. Scattergraph. Suppose bar chart. I mean, go back to secondary school style. Right, that's a list of graphs. And the final thing I'm going to ask you for this live stream is, do you need to see any of them? I've drank it. Yeah, it's literally Red Bulls. I drink so much caffeine. I'm actually only super high if I have 3 cans. Okay, 3 cans it is, right? Okay, tell you what, Nana, here's my promise to you. If you survive this, and I survive this, and I see you, I'll literally give you 3 cans just to see what happens. I'll probably run after I've given them to you, but I'll do it. That's a promise from me to you, all right? That's your incentive to stay alive. I've never drank Red Bull, fun fact. I drank it once before a court case because I thought it'd make me cleverer. It didn't. I won, but like the first 15 minutes, I literally got battered by the other barrister. I literally almost had to kind of like literally say, okay, BJ, you know, just calm yourself down. Hold on to like the table. Deep breaths. Slow this down because you're getting thrashed. It was a curb stomp. His boot my face. First 15, 20 minutes. It was not funny. And then, you know, like, how many of you guys ever played a competitive game? If you have, you know exactly what this is. You're playing and you start out okay, and then you're just getting battered. You're getting swept. The other guy's hammering you, the other girl is destroying you. And you just have to reset your head. You just have to go, okay, I'm 6-0 down. Let me just stop everything and pretend like it's 0-0 again and just start building scores again. And it's just like, it was the craziest thing. And I won, mainly because the guy was innocent. It wasn't because I was doing anything particularly good. I did fight back a bit, but bloody hell, yeah. Do not drink Red Bull if it's your first time before something important. Anyways, story time. Right, okay, cool. Favorite. I mean, I get that. Trust me, it's actually like really, I don't know, it really tells you who you are competing and stuff. That's the truth. That's what I think anyways. Because you like when you're losing, some people will just turn into like a piece of crumple. You know what I mean? They'll just turn into a piece of rubbish and throw themselves away. Some people will just start fighting. Some people will be reckless. It really tells you who you are as a person. If you don't compete at something, I recommend trying it. Even if it's something dumb like, I don't know, Monopoly, right? Because when you're losing, that really does give you an insight into yourself. Anyways, my last question before I shut up and go away. I know it's early in the morning. I'm back at 10:30 to talk about distributions. But before I go, and then it's a serious question, right? Looking at those 4 diagrams, is there anyone that needs a revision on any of those 4 diagrams? Pie chart, histogram, scattergraph, or bar chart? I'm going to hang around here for about another 7 minutes. You may as well tell me. If you don't, just get onto the worksheet. So if I'm like, you know what, I don't really need any help here, VJ. I already know all this. By all means, pop back up at 10:30. We'll talk something about distributions. These will be short and sweet, all right? Can I sleep and do the work later? Monopolies are banned at our house, sadly. Fair enough. Can you sleep and do the work later? Listen, you're only here for 2 more weeks. Are you fasting, Zeta? I mean, I have a little bit more sympathy. I mean, Naima, I'm so proud of you. That's why you're getting Red Bull secretly. Because, like, you're up till what? Because you've been up, you haven't slept. I know it's the first day, but, you know. You think you could all only slept at 4. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's on you. No mercy, Zerda. Today, legit Naima's favorite. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm so proud of you that you actually showed up to this. Because the temptation to bunk must have been quite high. All right, so yeah. So Rita says she's good with all of them. Don't worry. I'm fickle. I'm the most fickle teacher you ever know. Yeah, so feel free to disappear and vanish. I'm gonna hang around there just for a bit, just because I don't want to, shortchange you on like a 20-minute lesson. But the only content that you need is, can you draw these graphs? Do you know how to do them? If you do know how to do them, I'll see you at 10:30 when I'll talk to you about something that's a bit higher level. If not, and do the work, by the way. If not, say so, and I'll demonstrate them. Do you know what I mean? Is that the worksheet you emailed? Yeah, I don't expect you to do all of it either. I'd say do the histogram bits because that's the hardest one. That's like histograms and scatter graphs are realistically the ones that matter. And if you don't know why they matter, again, put that in the chat box because that means you kind of don't fully know what the hell you're doing. I'm not saying that in a rude way. You might as well use it to type it up to you. I'm trying to say that, yeah? So yeah, so if you look on the worksheet, they ask you to do like there's about 4 or 5 different questions. I would recommend do the histogram one and the scatter graph one because they're probably the most important. So as I said, I'll be back at 10:30 unless anyone wants a. I'm hanging around here for a bit longer now. If anyone wants a graph demonstrated, let me know. And for those people that came in late, what's the point of these last few lessons? I'm just going to teach you the psychology maths you need, first year and second year, and then for the last 2 weeks or so. All right. We've got what? How many lessons left? Not that many now. 4 lessons after today, and one of them's a double, so 3 really. Kind of sad. Kind of sad. Maybe not for you. Ikram, no worries. Just to give you a little heads up what we're doing. There's going to be 2 separate live streams. There's this one and the next one. The next one's at 10:30. This one's, if you check your email, I sent you out some work. We talked a little bit about graphs. What am I going to do with you until like the 8th of May is I'm just going to cover the maths in psychology. I'll try and finish the whole lot if I can, but I don't know if I can. Hopefully I can, right? And the point of it is that way at least you're doing something useful. There's no point preparing for an exam that most of you won't do. So I'm going to try and do something useful with you. So right now, the question before everyone is, and I'm going to hang around here for 2.5 minutes in case anyone wants to actually ask this. Look at the list of graphs written on the whiteboard. Is there any of them you don't know or you don't understand why you do them or anything about that? And if you check your emails, a set of work was sent to you. All right? Take care, and I might have a good one. So as it stands, if you know all of these, you are done until 10:30. If you don't know any of these, let me know. Has anyone heard from Yaron? Oh, sorry, Akam as well. While I'm here, I've done your reference. I did it literally as soon as you sent it, so we're okay. If anyone else is applying for anything, don't hesitate to ask me to do references because there are still some things still going on. Another thing also, just talking about applying for stuff, I gave you the wrong name for the money that you can apply for. But what I have done is in the groups, I've given the correct name. What I gave you was actually the name of how to apply for American universities, which would give you money too, but only if you went to American universities. Okay? So I'm going to disappear in about a minute, as long as people haven't got any particular arguments about graphs. Have a go at the worksheet. I'll be back in an hour or so. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I hope everyone's all well. All the rest of it. Okay, so if you do want to see anything about the graphs, you've got about 30 seconds just to pop it up. And obviously, I'll want to take 30 seconds to explain all of it properly. Okay, so take care. I'll see you in about an hour.